Well, it's another Ask the Night viewer special, which can only mean it's a Gerann post, it's a Gerann post, it's Gerann. Whimsicalness aside, it's now time for a regularly scheduled Gerann special on Ask the Night. And his first question: what are your thoughts on Hollywood rebooting movies anyway? I'm gonna try that again. What are your thoughts on Hollywood rebooting movies nowadays? It had to be this kind of question, didn't it? Do you agree that they're clearly running out of ideas? Yeah, to a degree they are. The fact that we've had Spider-Man rebooted so soon, although I actually enjoyed the first Amazing, to such a degree I felt it was better than the original Spider-Man movie. Opinion only. Second one, I will concede that they kind of missed the mark. I do feel like there are a lot of movies that there are go-to ones, which are, and I can see why they do this. There are tried and tested methods where they think, well, let's do another Batman movie because that makes money. I think a lot of the times now, people are afraid to do new ideas because it's something new, and they seem to think that people, don't, rather see the same thing again. No, we wouldn't. I would like to see an original concept or do something completely different, like Disney are doing with Big Hero 6, which I really need to get round to watching, but IRL often has a way of getting in the way of doing little things like that. You could argue that in some regards that ITV's upcoming Thunderbirds Are Go is one sense of entertainment out of ideas, but not every franchise makes it to 50 years old, so I got no problems with Thunderbirds coming back and just seeing what a 21st century take can do. In regards to things like, getting another Batman styled movie, to coincide with Batman vs Superman and then into Justice League, we wouldn't have a Justice League story taking place had Marvel not started their cinematic universe and building up to the first Avengers movie, which is still awesome, by the way. So I think the perspective I have is if an original movie was so awful beyond recognition, like Batman and Robin, for example, if people like that, fine, but for me, no, that was just terrible movie. You leave it a little while just to reboot things and just start from afresh and just learn to correct what had been done before. But then in that sense, there was nothing wrong with Tim Burton's Batman from 1989. But I think what a lot of people, and this is just me being, from calling this from an objective perspective here, when we saw movies like that, that was our generation's version of a Batman or a Superman. When you go to make a new one, it's meant to be for their generation, but there's nothing wrong with us enjoying it, because it's the same regard I hear when people say, why are we getting a new Ninja Turtles movie? It's like, well, you are aware it's been about 25 years since the original movie with Golden Harvest Films, so it's been a while. I do think that some studios need to curb it with the amount of reboots and remakes that they're doing. But with things like the Dredd movie that came out in 2012, because so much time had passed since the Sylvester Stallone movie in 94, if I'm not mistaken, enough time had passed where people had not really forgotten about it, but they kind of just let it go. Then, then would be the time to bring it back and see what they could do. But in answer to your question, I do feel like Hollywood is running out of ideas. But in the same context, I don't judge anything until I see the finished article, and then, and only then, I will dissect it, critique it, and give my opinion on what I've seen, because it's a bit harsh to judge something before you've even seen it or even given it a chance. So I'm kind of split on that. I do think that reboots should be toned down a little bit, but at the same time, I'm willing to hear, you know, what they're proposing that they're going to do with the project and to see where they're going to go with it. That's just my take. And, right, we're finally on to question 2. What are your thoughts on Undertaker losing his first WrestleMania match, and did you think people will not support him anymore? I will state outright that I thought it was a bad decision to end the streak, purely from the perspective of, you know, first of all, I don't think it should have been given to Brock Lesnar. That's just my honest opinion. Has it helped Brock? Yes, it has helped him immensely, because right now in the WWE, he is white hot. He, you know, just destroys the roster with the limited amount of time that he's there, but he's super over with the fans, and I think it's only a matter of time before they turn him face anyway, which I'm surprised they haven't done anyway. In all honesty, and I've said this quite a few times before, if it had been given to CM Punk at the time when he faced Undertaker at Mania 29, only said something to the effect of, and I have to clean this up here because I'm PG, you know, forget your longest, you know, longest title reign in 25 years, forget your titles, you just ended the Undertaker's streak. I mean, CM Punk had been the longest reigning WWE champion in 25 years at 434 days, and that's something to be proud of. But if he had ended the Undertaker streak, he would have been cemented and had his legacy forged, you know, cemented. It would be done. But the only other person I felt deserved, and this is just my honest opinion, deserved it more than anyone, was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, purely because of the history, the chemistry, and the animosity between the two. Although they respected each other, they found ways to rub each other up the wrong way, although that was probably more Shawn than Taker, given how Shawn was back in the day, but old ground, not going over it. And plus, I don't really want to get Jim Cornette irate than he is already about Shawn. I don't think it hurts the Taker's legacy whatsoever. Keep in perspective, before 21-1, Taker was 21-0 at WrestleMania. Now, take into consideration he had been absent for 2 WrestleManias. If he hadn't been absent for those, he would have been 23-0. It doesn't hurt his legacy at all. I mean, the fact that he had 21 consecutive wins on the grandest stage of them all in professional wrestling and sports entertainment, that is, you know, Hall of Fame career in itself. But considering the matches that he has invented, casket matches, buried alive matches, he was in the first Hell in a Cell match and that one-time biker chain match, which has not surfaced since No Mercy 2003 for the WWE Championship with him versus Brock Lesnar. You know, and had legendary feuds with Jake the Snake, Triple H, Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Kane. He's feuded with Kurt Angle once or twice. Diamond Dallas Page. Hope you're alright, by the way, buddy. Get well. It has not hurt Undertaker's legacy, career, no. That man is guaranteed not only his own wing in the Hall of Fame, he deserves his own Hall of Fame. Just to have, you know, a wing for his matches, his feuds, you know, they should have, you know, a wing for the various looks he had, you know, and this, you know, looks, costumes, and, you know, personas. I'm personally partial towards the American badass look, because I just looked and thought, that suits him. You know, it just came across as being very natural. But yeah, long-winded, no. Hasn't hurt him one bit. And his third question. If you had to choose between piloting the latest military planes or being a Navy SEAL, which one would you be and why? That's a very unusual question from you, buddy. I have no idea what a Navy SEAL would have to go through, so I'm not even gonna get into that one. Piloting the latest military planes. I think since things like Thunderbirds, or, you know, whenever Power Rangers would have Zords that had flight capabilities, I've always been partial to aircraft. I'd personally love to, you know, prefer to pilot Thunderbird 2, but that's just the biased Thunderbird fan in me showing. I'd probably just go with the military plane, purely because, you know, I'd love to fly one day myself. Training pending. But yeah, I'd just like to be a pilot in general. Not necessarily, you know, military plane, but whether it's just like a, you know, a jet, or heck, you know, designers, engineers, I'm asking you, make Thunderbird 1 a reality. Make a VTOL, VTOL, vertical takeoff landing aircraft, like, you know, exactly like Thunderbird 1. Give me some training and I would love to pilot that. That would just be, you know, an immense thrill and a dream come true. If you got any more questions? Nope. And that concludes this special of Ask the Knight, and you know how this shtick works by now. I'm sorry, I'm gonna try it again. And you know how this shtick works by now. Send a question to my Twitter page, leave one in the comment section below, or leave one at my dynamicknightpage.com. But until next time, ask again.